Stryv, continuous improvement. Smart quotes and words of wisdom. Shetty. Everything in life happens according to our time, our clock. You may look at some of your friends and think that they're ahead of you. Maybe some of them you feel are behind, but everything happens at their own pace. They have their own time and clock, and so do you. Be patient. Fast forward where you are. Look at yourself in 10, 15, 20 years' time and ask yourself the question, is that where I want to be? If you're in a company, look at the person who's 20 years ahead of you and ask yourself, is that where I want to be? If you're in a startup, look at where other startups have got to in similar roles and go, is that where I want to be? And if the answer's no, then you need to find a new path. Often the people closest to us get the worst of us. And the people we barely know get the best of us. We're so anxious about what will happen in the future that we don't enjoy the present. The result being, we don't live in the present or the future. We end up living, feeling like we're never going to die and then die never having truly lived. We force ourselves out of bed to live the same day again and again and call it a life. Failures are only failures when we don't learn from them, because when we learn from them they become lessons. You don't know what you need in your life until you figure out who you are. Never judge anyone, because you never know how their life is and what they go through. Our words have more power than we even believe. Our words define our reality. We need to pick them carefully. Make sure you taste your words before you spit them out. What if Oprah listened to her haters and doubters? What if Steve Jobs settled for a real job? What if The Rock never broke through depression? What if Ellen never overcame the bullying? Imagine a world where everyone lived their passion. We would be better people. We'd be better partners. We'd be better parents. What we're searching for is not out there, but it's inside. Therefore, happiness is actually an inside job. It's amazing how that time, that unforgotten, that invisible world, beyond the bottom of the iceberg, underneath the water, the part you don't see, is actually what made what you see today possible. Forgiveness and letting go and the ability to rise above the challenges that have been caused by others in our life is such an important ability because we need to learn to accept apologies that we never received. The paradox of our times is that we have more degrees, but less sense, more knowledge, but less judgment, more experts, but fewer solutions. The most powerful prison is one when you don't even know that you're locked up. What we need to recognize is that the things that we truly want, the things that are deeply meaningful, the things that are genuinely fulfilling, all require patience. They all require work. They all require energy. Many of us are experiencing setbacks and failures in everyday life. Eventually, we get emotionally drained, tired, unmotivated, and we stop trying. We believe that because we've been unsuccessful in the past that barrier still exists even for new ventures. In other words, we continue to see a barrier in our head that separates us from our dreams, even though there is no real barrier between where we are and where we want to go. Remember this, the teacher has failed more times than the student has even tried. Do you know what we stands for? Without ego. When we say we're choosing to work with others without ego. Money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but make sure it does not replace you as the driver. The challenge is we all want to be with someone who makes us happy when what we need to do is be some who makes us happy. The best people to surround yourself with are the people that bring out the best in you. Our value is not created by the price of our clothes or our bank balance or the job title that we have. We should be building a life and not just building our CV. We spend the whole day trying to get our work on time, but then spend all of our time thinking about work. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the behavior, but it prevents the behavior from negatively affecting us. You can take a fish out of the water and give it a beautiful mansion and a Bentley and all the money in the world, but it will die, and that's what we are like, our environment. Everyone is in an environment in which they thrive, which we have to craft. I believe that you can't fix yourself by breaking someone else. It's like what Buddha said, resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. We need to redefine what success means. Let's not make happiness and success about the size of our homes, but about the size of our hearts. Let's not make it about gratification, but gratitude. No matter how many times life will tread on you, life will crumple you, life will scrunch you, and life will squeeze you, you will always keep your value, that spark within us, all of bliss, knowledge, and eternity that exists. That spark will never be taken away. If you're looking around and you find yourself being the smartest person in the room, change rooms because you're in the wrong one. You want to be around people who lift up the way you think, who lift up your mindset, who really take you to new dimensions and horizons that you can never ever imagine yourself. I believe you should focus your life on observing the little things, because one day you look back and realize they were the big things. We only view people's success as what we see in their highlight reel, and we forget what they actually had to go through to get to that stage. And that's why the next time you see someone that you think is successful, don't focus on what they're doing now. Focus on what they did to get there. We may not be the best, but if we keep going longer, we will better ourselves. It's amazing what we can do when our passion meets a purpose greater than ourselves. That's why we need to explore our curiosity. Invest in what interests us. Follow what intrigues us. When a child is learning how to walk and falls down 50 times, it never stops and thinks to itself, this isn't for me. We need to learn to fail like a child. Motivation comes from meaning. Everything comes from meaning. We speak about being healthy and our well-being, but we act more like human doings than we do as human beings. Therefore, instead of to-do lists, we need to be lists. Instead of thinking about what you want to do, think about who you want to be. Do you want to be more self-aware? Do you want to be more conscious? Do you want to be a better person? Do you want to be a difference in the world? We need to move away from what we want to do in situations to who we want to be in situations. Failure has the ability to lure success. Countless failures almost draw kickers to success, and every time you walk through one door, the gate gets bigger and the lock gets tighter. I've never seen a strong person with an easy past. We all have a passion. We all have a genius inside us. We have that potential. We live for the weekend but then end up feeling weak. Failure is just a sign that we need to widen our scope. We need to be ready and build ourselves up for the next level. Actually, what we end up achieving is far greater than what we'd envisioned for ourselves. Getting your degree after 25 is still an achievement. Not being married at 30, but still happy, is beautiful. Starting a family after 35 is still possible. Buying a house after 40 is still great. Don't let anyone rush you with their timelines. I know that we've all been in that position, feeling confused and seriously lacking mission. But then I ask myself, at the end of my life, what will I regret? And the answer is clear: the pain of regret far outweighs the pain of risk. So next time you're going through challenges, just remember this: a winner is just a loser who tried one more time. All you need is one person to say yes. One moment can change everything. There are decades where nothing happens, and there are days where decades happen. A year from now you will have wish you started today. Often all of us are greeted in life by boulders on our path, whether it's in our careers, whether it's in our relationships, and what we need to remind ourselves at that point is that we can either be like the people who complained and criticize, or be like this one person who decided to move the boulder and see every point of adversity as an opportunity for growth. It's not about how slow you go, just as long as you don't stop. When we realize that we're students for life, instead of making people see how powerful we are, we want people to understand how powerful they are. We'll learn how to empower others. We will actually attract people to work with us to achieve our goals. Whatever is taken for granted will eventually be taken away. Often we're so engrossed in our work that we forget to value, appreciate and recognize those that we're actually working for. We get so wrapped up in our own lives that we forget the people that make up our life. No one is you, and that's your superpower. That's what makes you, you. That's what makes you unique. That's what it is about you that will make a difference in the world. The thing about limitations is that they are only true as long as you believe in them. So, instead of believing in your limitations, start believing in yourself. Judging is critical, but observing can be educational. Therefore, we should be so focused on improving ourselves that we don't have any energy to criticize anyone else. When it comes to your skills, invest in your strengths. When it comes to your quality, invest in your weaknesses. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Your life is about growing yourself and investing in yourself and reaching your true potential. You are not in competition with anyone else. We should never let compliments get to our heads and never let criticism get to our hearts, because when we do that, we can start to build with genuineness and authenticity. When we're humble, we can actually grow and rise up and always feel that we're learning, always feel that we're developing, always feel that someone can share insight at any moment that can change our lives. The person that we will become in 5 years is defined by the people that we spend time with today and the books that we read today. The same technology that brings us close to those far away takes us far away from the people that are actually close. Yet in a world with so much information, we're somehow still missing the wisdom of life. We complain that nothing feels real anymore, but we don't give anything time to become real. We complain nothing has depth, but we don't allow things space to deepen. Spend more time with people who make you forget to look at your phone. You can't do the big things if you're always distracted by the small ones. Starve your distractions, feed your focus. We don't know who we want to become because we're too distracted by who everyone else is becoming. Don't live for the approval of others. Documents the moments you're most in love with yourself, not just the moments you think people will love the most. People who care will ask how you're doing. People who love you will wait until you tell the truth. Life and time are the best two teachers. Life teaches us to make good use of time, and time teaches us the value of life. To realize the value of a millisecond, ask the person who just came second at the Olympics. Don't let someone be a priority when all you are to them is an option. The way we communicate says it all. We spend more time holding our phones than we hold each other. We ask Google more questions than we ask each other. A lot of problems in the world would disappear if we stopped talking about each other and start talking to each other. I make decisions based on intuition and insight, heart and head. I lead with my heart and observe enough so that my head can catch up. We all experience insecurities in work, relationships, friendships, and even family. And what that happens, we let insecurities completely destroy something amazing. Don't let insecurity ruin something amazing. People are so far removed from their own understanding of themselves that they were either lost living a life that they didn't want to, lost living up to someone's expectations, or lost becoming someone to impress someone else. Their real identity is almost buried under 6 feet of multiple identities that they created. Thank you for watching Smart Quotes and Words of Wisdom by Shetty. If you find value in this video, please consider subscribing.